So yeah, you know how the system's set up. You know, it's all about pressure. You know, pressure from not only parents, teachers. Teachers another big thing. You know, like they all so it's like this when you're home, you're getting pressure. Hey, go college. Go college and stuff. Hey, you need to do something when you get out of school. And also sometimes the kids can feel that if they don't go that route, then they may get kicked out, or the parents may abandon them, and it puts them in a situation where it's like college or nothing. It's like college or I gotta go out here and, make it on my own,
Yeah, that's true. And it's crazy because when you say it like that, it definitely reminds me my high school year. There was only ever, I think, one teacher. There's that teacher, Mr. Jackson, that I refer to frequently, that kind of hinted to the fact that even if you didn't decide to go to college, you can still do great things. And I think that's what people need to realize about it too. It's like you're always gonna feel pressure by other people. I mean, we're talking about college in this instance, but it's really in anything. Any decision, any opportunity that you see, not everybody, most people actually won't agree with it, but it's your life, so you gotta do what you feel led to do. Yeah, but Mr. Jackson, I'll never forget. He always sit me down, and because I'm in engineering stuff now, and obviously when I was in high school, that was my focus. And him being an engineer, he was always like, "You could be a good engineer, but you're gonna be a great leader." And I was just like, man. Yeah, and so I ended up going to college and whatnot,
powerful.
But he was like one of the few people in my life that re-instilled me, like, even if you didn't go to college route, you can still do something. And I think that's important for people to hear, man. I really do. But you're right. Teachers, they add a lot of pressure because they almost feel like it's their job to get you ready for college.
To get you prepared for college.
Yeah, instead of their job being to educate you in the now.
That's what it is. Because that's what they used to say to us all the time in class. This is just preparation for when you go to a higher level of education. And it's like, well, what about us that want to do something different? It's like, oh, you sure you want to do that? And it's like, yeah, I feel like, I can, because so I had a conversation with my teacher, Mr. Molly, and stuff. He was also my chess coach, and he used to say stuff like that. Like, he's like, you don't necessarily need it, but he was more on the side like, y'all, I don't know if y'all capable enough and stuff, to really go out, and yes, he thought I was, smart and stuff like that, but he worried about the people around me, my home environment and stuff like that and stuff. He don't know. He believed that may have a greater stronghold and may keep me from really growing and stuff, and reaching my potential that he thinks so. So he was recommending me to go college and stuff, just to escape from that. But and I even, I put myself in, I told my friends, a lot of them that was like close to the streets, I was like, if you don't have no other plan, go college, and sometimes I regret that. Sometimes I'm like, but given the situation, I really knew their situation. Like, I know that it was either, if not college, they was going down a real bad path, but that's not for everybody. Like, and like you said, the teachers, they put so much pressure. A lot of times, like kids, you'll hear like, when you get into your later teen years, oh, I have money set aside for your college. Like, a lot of parents, they already have money for you. So it's automatic. Like, what you gonna say? No?
Man, yeah, the pressure from family, at least in my personal experience, that may be the greatest pressure concerning college. In my own life, I think about my biological fathers. Every time we have a conversation, like, outside of, hey son, how you doing? The follow-up is always pertaining to school, to college. Okay, yes, I can respect that he's, acknowledging the fact that I'm still in school like that, but, what about my businesses that I'm starting? What about, the connections I've made, the people I've met? What about my dreams and goals? Why does it always have to go back to school, especially young people? And I hear everywhere we go, if there's a young person meeting a family member, oh, you in school? What you doing? What you learning? I'm like, Dad, what? Why? We've set money in college just like on these pedestals that they're not really supposed to be on.
You know what it goes back to? Success. That's what people call it. Like they say, they look at it, if you don't go to college and stuff, you can't be successful. That's another thing that they look at success. It's like, you know, and you ask them, well, what about the Elon Musk? What about Bill Gates? And they'll say, oh, those are outliers. Or they don't really know about them, and they say, oh, they was born into money. You know, a lot of millionaires, they are born into money. Yeah. But there are a lot there wasn't, you know. And it's like, what's to say that I can't be, you know, not that I'm chasing money, but what's to say I can't grow and stuff, you know, I can't become a millionaire. It's because a lot of times, what I believe is some people just, they look at themselves and they're like, well, I couldn't do it. You know, why would you be? Especially if they're close and they came from like a similar background. They start to put limitations on you that they, you know, because of how they turned out. You know,
exactly.
It's true. You know,
they start putting themselves in your shoes. They start like forcing their image onto you. Like you just said, if I can't go up, you can't go up either. It's sad, and it's really a philosophy. When it comes down to it, it's really just the way you think. And you have to make a conscious effort to be like, man, just because I haven't been able to do it yet doesn't mean I should, you know, discourage somebody else who has these dreams and goals.
Exactly.
Instead, I should let it actually encourage me to start having my own dreams and goals.
That's it.
It's like, it feels like we're at a point where it's like, kind of have to undo the system that has been constituted over the past hundreds of years. And it seems like an impossible task, but honestly, the way things are turning out today, the way the children, the way this youth is growing up, I think actually we're now at a prime time to like actually convey this message. Because now they're asking more questions. Now they're asking, how can I start my own business? What does it mean to start my own business? And, you know, social media has been a tool for that. You know, it's not all been good. It's a mode of distraction. But it also, people are able to get on and share how they become a millionaire without a degree. They're opening up people's eyes to be like, wait a minute, is college really for me? Is that what I'm supposed to do? These are good questions.
And you know where that comes from? Because they're starting to see their grandparents still working
and broke.
And broke. You know, and it's sad. It is. But, you know, we're starting to see and stuff that there's a flaw to that 40-40 system and stuff. You know, 40 hours a week, 40 years and stuff. We're starting to see that there's a flaw. Not to say that you can't be successful in that, but, you know, it's not a guarantee when you get to the age of 60s, 70s. People don't account a lot of times for hiccups in life and stuff happening before you even get to that age, that retirement age. Like, you could have something traumatic happen in your life that sets you so far back that you now can't retire till you're like 80, 90. You gotta work till you're dead.
I'm telling you. And pertaining to like the college stuff, is that the rationale behind most people like pushing their children, their grandchildren to college is to seek job security. But like in 2023, job security is almost obsolete. Like everybody is replaceable. With technology and stuff on the rise, with AI on the rise, and people able to get certifications instead of going to college to get degrees. So more the workforce development is even changing now. It's like, you really have to think about these things going to college. It's like, man, am I going to college to get a degree that's going to take me 4 years and it's going to cost me $80,000 when I really could have just spent 8 months getting a certificate that would put me in the same position.
Exactly.
Right around the same pay grade. I'm like, it's crazy, man.
And especially for young people, what's happening is right now, the job market is very, very tough. What's happening is a lot of companies, they're shrinking their size down because they're using AI and this advanced technology, so they're not needing so many people. So when they fire people that's more experienced in that field, the young people coming out of college, so if I'm an employer, like, here's what happens. If I'm an employer, I got somebody that's been in this field, in this industry, 20 years. and I got you coming out of college saying, yeah, you know, I got this college degree. Who am I gonna choose?
I need that experience, man.
I need that experienced person. So now you're getting the people coming out of college in this very, very tough job market, getting the bad end of the stick, and they're now having to find jobs, like regular jobs that, heck, you could have just did better and stuff, just not going and stuff. Colleges, you probably would have been, you know, let's just say, let's give an example. I work at Smoothie King and stuff. You know, there's some people that supposedly and stuff in college. Or I'll give a bad example. I worked at a restaurant, and there was these 3 girls, and they was like, yeah, we all have college degrees. And I was like, you know, and what and stuff, you know, and they was like, well, chemistry, one said chemistry, one said like human resources type of thing. I'm like, and you're here.
You're working in a restaurant.
I'm like, man, if you would have probably came to this restaurant right out of high school, you probably would have been the GM, you know. But of course they don't expect for this. But we're just, that's the point. We're trying to warn people, like, not to say that you can't succeed going the college route, but you got to be very careful because it's difficult.
Yeah, and not only that, but you really have to weigh the cost. And not just financially, you know, that's the more obvious thing, is to sit down and say, okay, first of all, if I'm going to get a degree, what type of job am I going to get with that degree? How much is it paying me? And if there's not a break-even point after the first 3 to 5 years of your career in that lane, you know, between your tuition costs and your, you know, your college expenses to your income, I think it's just a bad business move. It just doesn't make logical sense. All right. Then on top of that, you know, the financial piece is a time component. You got to think about all the time you have to invest. You know, speaking as somebody that's in school right now, going to U of L, engineering, right? The amount of time that I've invested, you know, in studying the calculus, the physics, all the other engineering classes, the nights that I've stayed up trying to learn those things, when I could have been focusing more on the businesses I want to start. Could have been focusing more on the people I needed to network with and communicate with. But I will say, you know, being a student, a college student, it does come with a certain leverage. Unfortunately, people like to hear you, you know, say you're in college, you're going to school. In their head, it almost like validates, like, okay, he's a driven person. When that's not the case, because you can go on college campus today and find a bunch of people that don't know what in the world they're doing or where they want to go. So I will say that, like, as a caveat, you know, people do like to hear you say you're in college, but